That's Ashley. Do me a favor and drop Soul's link, and we'll just go over there and read her when she starts hers. Even though I just got a notification that a video for tomorrow, What the Future Holds, is live.
Yep. And so I am going to say I love you, and I'm ditching and running over there. I've already turned the stream on, so people are going to go, what?
Everybody's welcome to go there and see what she's going to be talking about. We might find it interesting. It might even coincide with this one. I don't know.
Who'd have thunk? All right. I will see you on the other side.
No one can drop a link. You don't.
You could drop it here. It's in your private chat.
Okay.
Oh, no, it's not.
I'll drop it.
Hold on. Let me grab that for you. And
I thought I made Ashley mod on this channel.
Hey,
Not
Buddha,
bad.
bear with me. We are having a conflict of interest. Oh, I love it. It's not letting me do that. Oh, I know. No, it's not letting me do that.
Not in private chat?
No, because it's coming up with the studio YouTube stuff on the top, so I can't just grab it from there. Hey, Buddha, could you do me a favor, dear, and go over to well, let's see. Just drop the link for this in the chat for this chat, and I'll grab it, and then I will flip it over to Paul's.
Because we're going to give her a raid.
I know. You'd think YouTube would make things so much easier.
I think Buddha became a member of this channel of mine. I will take care of that, Ashley. I will make you into the mod over here.
No, just grab my link up in the top of the and drop it here, because I can't pull it down from here using the YouTube live stream tonight, so it's not giving me all the fun functions that I could have normally.
I mean, I'm already a member of her family over there, so I got it. I just can't pull it up over here.
It's on your Facebook. Oh, I meant we got something. We got something.
Vinny, you have eyes.
Okay. There you go. That should be it. And on that note, okay. I love you. I love everybody. And poof. Oh, what a time for Logitech to say update. Oh, goodness. Okay. Honey, I'm home. Thank you so very much, baby girl. Blessing, son. This is awesome. Thank you, Tuber Chat, for showing up and for being here. You have no idea. It makes me feel so special. I was just over on Paul's new channel, Walking the Path, and it was going good. We were talking about crystals and stones and all kinds of different stuff. He had picked up 3 new books. They arrived today. And so, and my book arrived yesterday, and I'll share that with you just because. And of course, we're backwards, so never mind. But it's The Emotion Code. That's probably because my camera has flipped it. Hey, Lost Soul. Much love to you. I'm so glad you're here. Ashley, love you, baby girl. But anyway, The Emotion Code is a really interesting book. The gentleman who has my last name it has a forward in it from Tony Robbins, and it's all about basically empowering yourself to heal traumatic experiences that are locked in the body, things that could have happened um, decades ago, and yet it's rearing its ugly little head now. Uh, so definitely something to check out. If you do searches on YouTube for the emotion code, I'm sure you'll find a ton of information and even example people going through the process. Um, aside from that, I wanted to hear from you guys because, as you know, last night was the last night for last night was the night. Last night was the final night of a silent minute. So where do we go from here? Yay! Welcome, brother. Welcome. So glad to see you. We're having a raid. I'm not in my best. I actually woke up and came straight to the computer. So there was no pause in between. And in my waiting to do this and then, going and pre-rating Paul, I killed all my water. I have a little bit left, so hopefully we won't have any glitches in the matrix. So what I would really like from everybody is just your thoughts on what you would like to see. I did create a description, and I don't know if it shows up during the live or not. I'm hoping it does. But okay, that's not it. But some of the things that I'd like to do, you've already heard about the what is it? Coffee, tea, and soul. That's going to be just an hour, and I'm planning on, or hoping to, interview various people and finding out their points of view, what they want to see out of life, what are things that they'd like to work on, what are their tools for self-empowerment, and just a variety of things that you could do for yourself that we could share, if you want to talk about it. And just kind of our kickback and have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, and chill. And then I don't know if it was through meditating but up to my head, Mother Earth and Father Sky. And so that's an idea for a topic header, or not really a header, but a series. There we go. And my husband is encouraging my dog to come back and bug me. It's not fair. It really isn't. So here he comes. He's coming back now. Tick, tick, tick. Yep. Now he's running. And you're going to bug me, right? Daddy said bug me, and you're bugging me. And then the other one is grandmother medicine. Grandmother medicine is going to be our foodie kind of discussion, talking about things you have in your cabinet, in your spice rack, to heal, to help with situations, whether it's, children not being able to sleep, upset stomachs, you're not taking care. You never are alone, lost. You never are alone. There are more with you than you can imagine. But so taking care of, let's say you're going outside and it's hot out, and when you're working, you deplete your electrolytes really quickly. Or if you're working out at the gym and you need something that, you know, you know what is in it, what is available, you know, to your body, and not any um, additives, any chemicals. Like, for instance, did you know that cream of tartar that we use when we make uh, meringue with the egg whites, cream of tartar is potassium. So you can put a quarter teaspoon, maybe even a half a teaspoon if you really wanted to, of cream of tartar in a drink, and along with a couple other things, you can boost your electrolytes. You can boost your magnesium, you can boost your potassium. There's all kinds of wonderful things that you probably have in your spice cabinet that you can add to your regimen, like maybe in the morning. Or what I did working at the Ren Fair here, and it was hot weather and we were laying on an adobe floor. I took a case of those 16-ounce bottles of water, spring water, and poured out maybe 2 ounces, and then I began to make my concoction. And it was all to keep us hydrated and give us energy, and it worked great. Everybody loved it. It tasted good, and we love you too, Vinny. Um, just a wonderful self care. All of my cooking involves, um, come here a little bit. I see you, and I don't trust you when you're out of your hole. Um, I use cinnamon a lot. Cinnamon is for lack of a better term, it's a mimicker of insulin. So if you like have cinnamon first thing in the morning, and you're working to lower your blood sugar, it will help because the body goes, oh, we've already got insulin in the body. We don't need to release anymore. And then the pancreas actually gets a little bit of a break. So it helps with people who may have be experiencing a high level, especially diabetics, a high level of sugar. It helps to take the glycogen and glucose, and not going to get into say what? Okay, I don't want to go there. But anyway, so uh, nutmeg. Nutmeg is another one that's good for vasodilation. Uh, I started to say cinnamon again. See what you did to me? Um, Cayenne pepper. It relaxes the arteries, it relaxes the veins, it allows for blood to flow more easily. One of the wonderful properties of cinnamon, or sorry, I don't know why cinnamon is stuck in my craw, but of the cayenne is that you could use it if you wanted to like help increase the blood flow. Um, Now, before I go any further, I'm talking about spices in your cabinet, and I'm talking about information you could go hunting for your own self and find um, a litany of properties that would benefit you when you're cooking for healing the body or for um, just giving yourself a little bit of a leg up. You can consider it like biohacking. There are foods that you could be eating for gut health. There is an interest, I don't know if the website exists still, but it did for like 15, 20 years. But it's called, maybe not that long, but anyway, I'm Italian, hands are going. Um, it's about the blood, or no, the brain gut connection. And through the use of specific foods and tailoring diet, it just takes a few grains, Buddha. It really doesn't take much. Or you could do it in capsules. They do make it in capsules. But anyway, the brain gut connection, they discovered that through altering diet, through making sure that specific foods were being eaten and other foods weren't, that people who were exhibiting schizophrenia were were having turnarounds, were improving. They actually were able to reverse it. There's just, the internet is marvelous. There is so much information at our fingertips that you could educate yourself to the equivalent of, some of these nutrition specialists and whatnot, without having to spend a fortune going to school and studying, and you just be voracious in your self education. It's like homeschooling yourself. When you're homeschooling, most people don't realize it. You don't have to follow anybody's curriculum. I homeschooled my daughter, and she did great in school. When she went back into high school, she decided she wanted to go to prom. Um, but I taught her. We went to the museum. She wrote about what she saw, what she learned from the museums. Um, we would do various things, cooking in the kitchen and learning about, the proportions and how to, um, measure out things, and what the chemical reactions are, like when you add vinegar to baking soda, and what does that do when you're cooking, and create this oxygenation of your food. And then there's the rise and all kinds of cool stuff. So you can make up your own, um, school plan to learn stuff. I do that every day. My morning begins with learning. Um, I spent time today listening to some Hopi elders. There's a rock out in the Hopi lands that they call Prophecy Rock. It has a diagram on it that was drawn thousands of years ago, and they said that on this rock it depicts the Hopis coming, out of the third world, and it's based on their indigenous upbringing, their belief systems. But they talk about there being, um, we'll talk about that later, Buddha, just you and me. Um, so anyway, it was a fascinating, um, read. And then there was a couple things that I wrote down that I'll share with you. Let me see. Uh, this was something, and I think it might have even been during the, okay, Vinny, sweet dreams, a pretty good, quote, we'll call it. So you need to be silent in two situations. The first one is when you feel, okay, when you feel that one cannot understand your feelings from words, or no, sorry, got that wrong. When you feel, meaning your feelings, one cannot understand your feelings from words. The second one is when one can understand without any words. So those are the times to be silent, because when I'm experiencing emotion, feeling whatever, that you can't understand my feelings from the words that I express. And the second is when you can understand my feelings without me expressing any words, by expression, by whatever. And then it's never explain yourself to anyone, because the person who likes you doesn't need it, and the person who dislikes you won't believe it. And it was like, wow. And to me, I took that as speaking. I don't have to explain to anybody what I do, or what I am. We'll just talk and we'll go from there. And then, um, because you're either going to take it or not, it doesn't matter. Uh, but that was cool. Of course, I wrote it in Chicken Scratch, and these are not my reading glasses. So I'm trying to read. What the heck did I say? But yeah, it was cool. I thought, when you feel one can't understand words, and one can when and when one can understand without any words. Those are the two times you just be quiet. But yeah, the whole Hopi thing, it was messages from the ancients, and they were talking about hope and how hope was key into everything, and talked about the quantum. They talked about water and how water reacts to our energies, to our hopes, to our prayers. And we had spoken a week or so ago, I think, or last week, about Dr. Masaru Emoto and his studies with water, and how they could imprint thoughts and feelings onto the water. So, like, you could take a container like this and fill it up with water and tape onto the container love, and then sit it in your refrigerator overnight. Sit it on your desk, and then you know fill your cup up as you're going about your business, to make sure you do your water, because we need to drink water. We are supposed to be over 80% water. Hey, Prince Daniel. Welcome, baby. um, Taking a bath in the water. And I told you about doing the bathtub exercise, the toning. And so when you tone and you create that vibration, the water takes it and ripples it back and forth, reflecting off the side of the tub. Your body being water, all the cells vibrate with it. Uh, Water is key in life. We can't go for long periods of time without drinking water. Now, you can have certain foods that give you water. You know, it's best to eat tart fruit, tart, like tart cherries and sour apples and lemons, limes, but not the sweet fruits, because that's too much fructose, too high a sugar. Um, there's just a multitude of things that's my goals for grandmother medicine, is doing all that. I went on a diatribe. The dog made me go squirrel, and now we're back to square one. So I'm glad Daniel's here, and Buddha, thank you, namaste. Ashley, much love to everybody. Brother Paul, thank you. Vinny, I know you went to bed. Um, OG, I love you, son. Um, you guys float my boat, make my heart sing. Uh, I didn't share out the link on my phone. Shame on me. And I don't know where my phone is. So let's see. Angela's not here because I forgot. I am so. All right. Let me see. I know that Buddha posted that up there. There it is. Okay. Um, so hang tight with me, guys. Matter of fact, you could help me out greatly, because I want to know. It's not to fill airspace. Please tell me what you would like to experience. What are things you're interested in? I gave you a basic on the paths, if you want to call them that. You know, Paul and I are going to share uh, spirit talking, and that'll be an every other week thing. And then the grandmother medicine for your food, for the things that will help to heal your body, taking ownership of you. And if you're on medications, you need to do your homework. You need to look, and there's information out there. Look out, look up what foods do not go well with like if you're taking coumarin, coumarin is a toxin, but they give it to people to thin their bloods. It's what's in rat poisoning. That's why it kills rats, because it makes them bleed from the inside. Um, there are other medications that one could take in its stead, but this because the side effects of uh, coumarin are just nasty. I think that's a Q. And then let's see what else. But doing your homework and making sure that, because even if you're cooking with some of this stuff, it can interact with your medications. So you need to be aware that it's out there. It's an issue for your health and well-being. Okay, I am doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm going back, and I am. There we go. Because Angela will be upset that I left her out of it. And what is today? Today's Saturday. Cameron is probably at the gun show, so he's not going to be able to participate unless they've got what do you call it? Wi-Fi. Okay, so back to square one. Tell me what you'd like. I want to know. I want to know, what are the things that interest you? You have a good solid gist on what it is that I do or that I'm capable of. There's so much more that we can cover. Uh, I am going to abuse Brother Paul on one of the, I don't know if it'll be the coffee, tea, and soul, or it will be something else, but I'm going to drag him up on panel. And while he's talking and I'm talking, I'm going to paint his energy fields or draw them or whatever it's going to be. All right, now see, I'm a good girl, so I claim I have pen, I have paper, and I'm writing it down because squirrel. So, learning about crystals. There are exercises that we could do, like how to find a crystal that's right for you, because crystals have personalities. And again, as I was saying earlier, you know, this is a crystal. You have, which I didn't find my stone that I was looking for to show, but because my desk is full of today's multitudes of projects all at once. Your turn. Um, but so knowing what you need, what your purpose is, then you can go from there. And learning how to communicate, learning how to open up to accept that, well, there's maybe a message here coming from spirit, or coming from your ancestors, coming from wait, bright light. Okay, I didn't like that white. Oh, well, that's all right. um let's see, herbs. So again, we were talking about different herbs for your cooking with that help in healing your gut. They estimate probably 85%, I think it's higher, of people have leaky gut syndrome. And it doesn't mean you have a hole in your gut, but in a way it does. It means that toxins and stuff are permeating the gut. That also means that um, the way it travels through the system, there is a sphincter valve down on the lower right quadrant of your abdomen, and that ileocecal valve sometimes gets stuck open, and so there's a bit of leak back and forth, which isn't a good thing. That causes toxicity. So you will find several different definitions of leaky gut syndrome. talking about healing the body, fasting. I'm a big fan of fasting. Um, you have to know yourself and you have to prepare for it. You can't just, oh, tomorrow I'm not going to eat for 24 hours. I mean, you could, but the likelihood of it doing what it's supposed to do or being beneficial to you might not be there because, well, you didn't prepare the body for it and you probably aren't even mentally prepared for it. Um, Somewhere along the line, we have a fear of starvation. Now, I know my mother would tell me stories when I was very little that I had some kind of a problem where if I put anything in my mouth bled. And so I was always hungry. And I know that that is a stuck in the energy field because every so often I have uncontrollable hunger, even though I just ate an hour ago. Now, certain foods do that. Anytime you eat a carbohydrate, you're hungry again within an hour, 2 hours. It makes you hungry because it elevates your blood sugar. And then when all that blood sugar is used up, it crashes, and your body's like, feed me, I need more sugar. That's why the keto diet I'm very much in favor of because it moves you from being glucose dependent to ketone dependent, which is actually beneficial for your thought processes, for regeneration of tissue, cells, etc., yada, yada, yada. I am not a doctor and I do not claim to be a doctor. And if anybody ever asks me, I don't trust doctors. So there you have it. Bob's your uncle. Um, so we got crystals. What else, Paul? Or Buddha? Prince Daniel? Ashley? Talk to me. Tell me what else you would like to learn about or discuss. Um, and this being no holds barred, everything is done in love. Fear is not a commodity that we sell. If you become fearful of a topic, that's something that you need to figure out why. What is it about that topic? Where does that preconceived notion that this is to be afraid of? Um, it's like, I'm not afraid of tigers. I know that going out into the jungle where tigers are, I could become lunch. So it's being mindful of my surroundings, being careful on approach, and being very respectful of their territory. Um, so, but I'm not afraid of them. Do I want to get eaten? Nope. But that doesn't come from fear. That comes from knowing that they got big teeth, twofers, and long claws, and one swipe, and see you later, bye, soul. Soul meets soul. Um, so it's just think about self awareness. Buddha, I think you said that last night. But being self aware, knowing where your parameters are, your borders are, where your comfort zone is, and then challenge yourself to step or stretch that comfort zone a little bit. I read a quote somewhere. Did I write that down? Let's see. Of course, there are so many pages here of things I did. All right, that's Pink's. No. It was something from, oh, I think I know where it is. I didn't write it down, I typed it down. Bear with me as I look for it. Okay, from Eleanor Roosevelt, or Roosevelt. Do one thing every day that scares you. That was a quote from her. Another one is challenge yourself to be greater than your circumstances. Step outside of your comfort zone with one thing, one idea that challenges you. Expand your awareness, expand your knowledge. So that was something that I had written down for this such occasion. I didn't know then, but I do now. How's that? Um, please thumbs up if you haven't already, and please uh, share out the channel. I started an hour earlier, an hour and it's earlier than normal because I actually was only going to make this a short, um, moment in time. I've actually spoken more than I had intended, because I want more from you. Tonight, I want you guys, give me some feedback. Give me some, I want to learn crystals. Okay. Uh, what is a subject that you would like to learn about or that you would like to work on? So, finding ways that do not affect your imbalances that you are experiencing in a negative way, but in a positive way. So, certain foods for that. Um, everybody should be eating uh, fermented foods. So, you can find, um, if you do it yourself, which is better, get yourself some organic uh, carrots, but celery definitely, red peppers, uh, or green, whatever peppers, baby corn. You could. I'm not a fan of corn because the majority of them are genetically modified, and people don't understand what a genetically modified organism is. Um, but make your own, and it's real simple. Cabbage, make your own. Take a head of cabbage, take the core out, pour a bunch of salt in, get yourself from Home Depot, Lowe's, or any local kind of um, hardware store, but pick up a bucket, a 1 gallon or 2 gallon bucket, 5 gallon bucket, and put the head in there and just fill it with salt, and then add add some water, and you cover it and you keep it down, and you can make your own sauerkraut, which heals the gut. It gives your body the microorganisms it needs to heal the gut lining, to make things work the way it's supposed to improve your immune system, because 80% of your immune system resides in the gut. Growing your own food is excellent. People can't all do that. When you're making your foods, there are natural bacterias, that yeasts that are present on various foods, and when you wash them too well, they you end up killing the yeast or knocking the yeast off. So if you're growing your own, you can take a brush and brush off any dirt, but leave Mother Nature and the organisms that are meant to ferment on the plant. Somebody hiccuping? What's going on over there? Walter, lay down, please. Dude, down. Come on, down. You don't have long to wait, I promise. Um, but making little drinks, apple cider vinegar with a little cinnamon, a little bit of honey, squeeze of lemon, that's good for your liver. Uh, your liver and your heart both burn fat. Your heart does not burn proteins, it does not burn, you know, sugar. So those are things that you need for your heart and for your liver. But your liver does over 500 different functions. And so if you had a tooth extraction or a tooth infection and you were on massive amounts of antibiotics, and you never did anything to clear out the liver, that's why a lot of country people, a lot of, well, I'm going to even go as far as the Appalachians, the mountain folk. They do seasonal cleanses. They will make nasty tasting stuff, um, and they'll drink it to clear their liver out, to flush their whole body out, and they will do those cleansings once a season. So winter, summer, I know I'm not going in order, but winter, spring, summer, fall, they're always doing a cleansing. Some people will do in the springtime and then in the fall. But if you are not actively clearing things, you are creating buildup, and then it no longer is functioning. It's like a dirty sponge. After a while, all of the pores, the pockets, the holes and things become clogged with gunk, and your liver does that. So you really need to flush it. And here's something that might make you squirm, but you should be looking at your poop regularly so that you can see the color. That tells you your health. Too much mucus. Um, there's all kinds of things. Being in the health industry and the day spa, um, I used to talk about people's movements multiple day, and it's just like it's just normal. Somewhere along the line we kind of like, ew. I mean, there's certain things I don't want to know, but as a rule, if I'm going to discuss your health, I'm going to take into consideration your urine. Are you smelling things? Does it clear? Is it yellow? Has it got other colors? Is there a green tint to it? All this stuff is your body's way of saying, hey, buddy, pay attention to me. I got this going on inside. You can't see it, and you may not be feeling it. It's like the liver. The liver does not fail until 2/3 of it are damaged. So if you take this big organ and you cut it in thirds, when you're down to that 1/3 of functioning liver, that's where disease comes in. So the liver's magnificent because it can continue with just a little bit of space to do what it needs to do for your blood, for your, for the lymph, for the fat, for everything. And, but, you never want to get that far. So doing a cleanse on a regular basis, even even the fasting is good for the liver. The fasting is great for the pancreas because now the pancreas gets to take a break, and then the body gets to reset its insulin markers, receptors on the cells. So, you know what? You only got one body. We aren't in that day and age yet. I'm sure somebody's going to try, probably Elon Musk, to take your consciousness, your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and place that into another body. It's like, clone your body, have it on ice until it's like I've destroyed everything of my body. I can no longer function. Put me in a new one. I remember 25 years ago, maybe longer than that, there was a series of books. I do not remember the author. It was completely fantasy and bizarre, but cool. And the United States had gone through major upheavals. Hello, beautiful Mulan. Mwah! But it had gone through major upheavals, and now in the books, uh, think the center of the country was in New Mexico City, and Native Americans were the police, and but the dolphins and the orcas were at battle with one another, and them being so intelligent, they had gotten to where through who knows what mechanism or whatever, they were able to walk on the soil, walk on land, and they talked and communicated, and they had kind of wearing like a skinwalker would do, put on another skin and become a person, And it was just really cool because there was murder mysteries going on in it and kind of a magic sort of thing, and it was just really it was a really trippy series. Um, but in that series, they did talk about people being able to like transplant from one body to another, and then there was some other book where this man who living for uh, several hundreds of years, and every time his body got to be a certain age, they would run him through something, and he'd be given another lease on life for another, whatever many decades and whatnot, centuries, blah. And he had a ship that talked, so it was kind of like uh, Star Trek with Twilight Zone or The Outer Limits or something. It was an interesting book, um, but I don't have them. I never really read for enjoyment. I always read for studying, and a friend of mine turned me on to those books, and those were the only ones I read. I think I have read in my lifetime, maybe I'm going to be generous, 10 uh, fictional books, just stories. Mercedes Lackey is one that I really like, and I've read several of her books. Um, and then those other ones with the orcas and the dolphins and the weird stuff. And that might have even been Mercedes Lackey for all I know. I don't remember. Co-authored with somebody. I will look for those, see if I can recall their names because I don't have the books anymore, and I'll share that with you because there's some cool kind of get your thoughts out there. What ifs? Anything is possible. You're here. Um, so yeah, so there's that. Uh, and all of that diatribe on the books was all about taking care of yourself and being responsible for your health and well-being because we're not in a place and time yet where you can turn in your body for a new one. Um, and frankly, my point of view is nobody knows my body better than I do. I don't have the machinery to scan and stuff, but I do have energy to scan. Hello, Nubs. How are you doing? Um, but so, uh, it might be beneficial because I can go to a lab and pay them and tell them that I want these type of blood tests, this working and stuff, because I'm looking for specific things. And then I can tailor my own care from that. I don't have to go pay some doctor 100 and some odd bucks and then have them, well, we're going to put you on medication because I just don't do medication. Um, and I'm fully responsible for me. And I know that. Uh, I have friends who think I'm crazy. When I cut my foot and, tried to sever it in half, I took care of it. And I walked just fine. Um, I am presently working with a chiropractor for some structural stuff because I know that from not being able to walk on the foot and how we compensate, and so I limp along and put all the weight onto one side that I've stressed some things, and I just want a little bit. I can't adjust my back. I have not figured out how to do that. When I do, I'll let you know and I'll share that. Um, Surprise! See, I let you tell people. Let's see. What else? So I'm coming back to you guys again. What do you want to know? Or are you just going to leave it in my hot little hands and roll the dice to see what shows up when it shows up? Are you interested in seeing my painting the energy for Uncle Paul, or somebody else that wants to come up too? I'd be happy to do that. Um, Down the road. And then recipes for health, for, like I said, doing the electrolytes, great workout drink, or working out and having to deal with heat or whatever to replenish, your minerals, sleep aids through food. Um, I'm just looking at the chat a moment. Uh, and thank you guys for the thumbs up. I am so happy that you're here with me. Would you be interested in learning about the different paths of healing, for self care, or for working on specific areas on the body? Um, Learning about muscle testing, so you know if your water is good for you, health, healing, or whatever, or I don't know, or if you were your thoughts and attention into the water for love, for health, for hope, for joy, for prosperity, for balance, for you have so many things that you could be putting in your water. Um, Unconditional love. Uh, we could learn about muscle testing to see how effective you are. There are walking the path has so many meanings to me. It's not just uh, a sharing of all the paths of belief systems, but it's also about all the paths to finding you, because maybe it's doing qigong, or it's doing tai chi, or just the meditations and the different types, because there's probably as many people that teach meditation. There's probably as many different means, forms, and ways of meditation. um, it just means knowing yourself, and so being quiet. um, you have Wim Hof, who does breath work, and he swears by his breath work. He also swears by freezing yourself in ice water. Um, I don't think I could do that. Uh, but, everybody gets results. And, the question would be, are the results because they believe in it, because they want it to work, or because it is doing a physiological change? Um, So we can do, and Paul, I thought about it, uh, so I will write it down, because squirrel. Um, Find the page that I'm in, because I will write it in other spots and it will get lost. Um, but on healing, I thought about sharing all the different forms of healing that I do, that I've learned, because I've paid big money to go and have people teach me how to do Reiki. I am a Reiki master, and I got my master's in 1996. Um, it's also when I became a reverend, or a minister, or whatever. Um, and then, let's see, then after that, in 97, I received training in what is called Rehutech. And Rehutech is a uh, Egyptian um, form of like Reiki. It's the same vein of energy healing, uh, drawing from source energy, and you're just a tube, a tool for it, um, an instrument for the divine. But toning is involved because frequency, and the Egyptians were very big on frequency. Even the Phoenicians and other, even older, there are images of them holding something that looks like a pine cone. Um, and it's got all the little like nubs on it and stuff. And many speculate on it being something that sent a frequency out, so they were able to levitate stuff with this, or knowing, if it's like a specific stone and knowing to vocalize it. And so by doing that vocalization, that frequency, it would magnify that to lift the stones. Some people think that that's how the pyramids were built. Other people think spaceships built the pyramids. So let's see. I learned quantum touch, quantum healing, healing touch, which to me they were so much the same, but not. Working with pendulums, of course, physical therapy, hands-on body work, um, cranial sacral therapy, which again was hands-on. But the thing about cranial sacral therapy is that it deals with the the system from your head to your tailbone. There is a fluid that runs through your spinal cord, and this fluid moves on its own and has its own rhythm. And one side of the body can be out of sync. And so by tapping into that rhythm, you can feel when something's stuck or hesitates while the other side's still moving. And so you can ask the body to, you know, let's get it back in sync and move beyond that stuck point or whatever. It's great for babies. There was a doctor in Michigan, Minnesota, something like that. It was an M. I don't remember. I no longer have the book from the teacher. I lost a lot of things when my house, the roof caved in. Um, but his name, what was his name? John Upledger. So you can look up Upledger, Upledger, and you can find out all kinds of information about cranial sacral therapy. You can find out information about somatic release, emotional somatic release. Oh, I dearly loved the cranial sacral therapy. That was one of my favorites. I had to continue doing that, get through 3 or 4 levels. Um, I'm ready to go to the next, uh, but it's expensive. It's like $1,500 or $1,700. Well, back then it was, um, for a 4-day class. That's just not in my books right now. I'm just not willing to part with that. Um, let's see. Uh, and of course, I took training in something called body detective work. And I really didn't like it because while we were able to affect change on people, and there was some really cool things that came about during the training, I didn't like how violent it could be because you literally, when you felt that there was an energy form trapped in the body, a memory, whatever it was, they would push in. And I mean, you could bruise somebody trying to pull that out. Now, Steven Seagal came and had work done with us. Unfortunately, I wasn't part of the class at the time, but um, he came to have that work done on him to have things released. Uh, that was kind of cool. I hear you. Where are you at? Okay, come here, you. You're up to something. All right, we have children, and your feet are wet, or are they just cold? Hopefully, they're just cold, because otherwise, then I would be mad at you, because that meant you went and did something you shouldn't have done. Okay. Um, and then you've got things like EFT, emotional freedom technique. You have the Ho'oponopono. So there's a lot of stuff we can cover for healing. Crystal healing, pendulum work, um, this emotional code. I used a thing. It was frequencies using numbers with the Grabovoi numbers, which that was a great. So if anybody wants to experiment with that, let me know. We could work on that. Lots of stuff we could do. So healing. Now, what else? Anybody else got another thought that they'd like to share or learn about? There's healing for our pets. One of my fondest desires was to learn pet communication. I've seen some people do really cool things. I do massage on dogs and cats and horses. Um, do Reiki on the animals too, and on the food. Before I eat it, a lot of times I'll be doing it. I have a reverence that I do with my tea and my water because I drink water at home. I will not drink water out in public because I don't trust city water. But sometimes you may see me kind of tip my head and pull it up to my crown and then take a sip. And when I'm drinking like green tea, especially when I'm at a Japanese or Chinese restaurant, I do a lot of that. It's 3 tips up, 3 sips. Um, I think that's probably about all I've got to share for the upcoming future. Um, I don't know when Paul and I are going to uh, do the spirit talk with Paul and Soul. Um, he gets to be first because he's Paul, and that's the first name in there. But we're going to do that every other week. We'll alternate. My channel, his channel. Oh, stop, 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 stop. I get the message. You guys want to go out, which means I need to stop. We will do that. I promise. Can you say goodbye? Can you tell everybody good night? You won't even look at the screen because you know you're there. She won't even look in the mirror. It's funny. So, on that note, I'm going to thank everybody for being here, for being part of my family, for sharing your thoughts and dreams with me and your energy. And I look forward to seeing you in the ether. We will we will get this all squared away. I don't know when the next uh, my next stream will be, but I will probably post a video to share that. But at the moment, um, it will probably not be until next weekend. I've got a lot of things to do here. Tomorrow will be on fixing up stuff around my house. Huh. And and on that note, thank you guys. Have a blessed night. Walk in a beauty way. Mitako e washin. And me and my kids are going to go now so that they can go potty. Because I bet you that's what this is about. Isn't it? Isn't it? You and that nose. Hey, Pete. I'm glad to see you. You snuck in. All right, everybody. I love you. Be blessed. And see you next weekend. Or on Paul's channel, either Yankee Southerner or Yankees. And of course, then I kind of like pop up on a few others, Scratch and Pete. and Tuber Chat. So here we go. Say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. Yeah. Love you. Bye.